So I'm going to take the number 47.9873 and I'm going to write it in a place value chart. So the way this works, where you see the word and in the place value chart, that really means the decimal point. So right away, that's where I'm going to put the decimal. And we have 7 ones, 4 tens. Okay, that takes care of the numbers to the left of the decimal. Now to the right of the decimal, the first number we come to is a 9. That means we have 9 tenths. Then we have 8 hundredths, 7 thousandths, 3 10,000ths. Now the question was, round this number to the nearest hundredth. Well, in order to round to the nearest hundredth, I have to look at the digit that's in the thousandths place value. And that digit's a 7, which is more than 5, which means I'm going to round the digit in the hundredths place value up to a 9. And then the number that's in the tenths value stays the same. The decimal's the same. So the number 47.9873, if it's rounded to the nearest hundredth, becomes 47.99. In B, I'm asked to round the number 23.99609 to the nearest hundredth. So I'm going to start by taking the number and locating the decimal point. There's the decimal point. I have a 3 in the ones position, a 2 in the tens position. Then I have a 9 in the tenths, a 9 in the hundredths, a 6 in the thousandths, a 0 in the 10,000ths, and a 9 in the 100,000ths position. I'm asked to round this to the nearest hundredth. Well, what I'm going to then do is identify the hundredths position. Well, that's got a 9 in it right now, and the next place value to the right is in the thousandths position. Well, there's a 6 in the thousandths position. That means I need to round the 9 in the hundredths position up to a 0. Now, if that rounds up to a 0, that 9, that means this 9 rounds up to a 0. The decimal place is still there. And now the digits in the ones position rounds up to a 4. But the digit in the tens position stays the same. So 23.99609, if we're asked to round it to the nearest hundredth, that rounds up to 24.00. Now we're asked to round 2.0486 to the nearest thousandths. So here's the number 2.0486, and I'm asked to round it to the nearest thousandths. Well, the thousandths place value is 3 boxes to the right of the decimal point. So I have to actually look at the digit in the 10,000ths place value in order to round this number to the nearest thousandth. Well, there's a 6 in the 10,000ths place value. That means that the 8 gets rounded up. So the 8 becomes a 9. The 4 stays the same. The 0 stays the same. There's the decimal. And there's the 2. So 2.0486 rounded to the nearest thousandth becomes 2.049. Or in other words, 2 and 49 thousandths. I'm going to round the number 29.4324 to the nearest thousandth. Well, if I'm rounding this to the nearest thousandth, I need to identify the value, the number in the thousandth position, which is the 2. And there's a 4 in the 10,000ths position. Now 4 is less than 5, which means that this number is going to round down. So the 2 will stay the same. 3, 4 decimal. So 29.432 is what you get if you round 29.4324 to the nearest thousandth. So 29.432, if you were to read that, that would be the number 29 and 432 thousandths. So 29 and 432 thousandths. Earlier, we'd looked at a calculation, this calculation. I said I returned that. So suppose this number, 0.267142857, say we were told in our test to round that to the nearest tenth. How do you do that? Well, let's look at the place value chart. Well, as you can see, this number is off the chart. The last digit that I've been able to write down is actually in the millionths place value. I want to round to the nearest tenth. How do I do that? Well, what digit's in the tenths place value? There's a 2 in the tenths place value. There's a 6 in the hundredths place value. 6 is bigger than 5, so that means the 2 is going to round up to a 3. There's the decimal place. There's the 0. So that big long number there actually will round to 0.3 if we're rounding to the tenths place value.